CraftyRia, CraftyRia, CraftyRia.
Hello and welcome to another video. I'm so glad you are joining me today. This is CraftyRia and I'm back with another card sketch. I know it's been a while, but here we have card sketch number 27, and this one is inspired by this card I was sent in a box of used cards, and this came from Stacy. So I went ahead and used this as a basis to make my card sketch. Now this here is a card that had been used. It is just the front cover, and it would be really easy to recycle this to just stick it on another card base. But first I wanted to make it into a card sketch so we can use this idea over and over again. So let's go ahead and get started. I picked some papers out of my stash. I'm going to make a regular card and then also a recycled Christmas card using this sketch. I received these borders in some Happy Mail recently, and I thought that would be good down this left side of the card sketch. So I went ahead and took one of them, and I already trimmed it down. It's about 1.5 inches wide, and that will work great for the left side of that card. And then in my card, or in my scrap paper drawer, I found this piece of pink polka dotted paper, and I thought that piece would go pretty good along the right side of the card. And then in my stash, there was this piece of border paper, and I thought this piece with the flowers would be really good down the center of those two for that stripe down the middle. And then I have these butterflies, which I thought looked really good with these papers. And then I got a piece of purple cardstock out of my cardstock. I went ahead and cut it in half and folded it in half. And I thought that would be perfect as the card base. I'm not going to use another piece of paper to mat it on. I think I'm just going to lay it directly onto this color card base. So let's go ahead and put this together. So I already have this piece cut to the width I need, and I do need to trim this piece up to about 2 inches. So I'm just going to trim the edge off of that, and I will set that aside. So we have this already. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim this piece of paper. I'm going to go ahead and cut it at the fold. And I'm going to go ahead and trim this piece of decorative paper off. I want to line it up as close as I can to that decorative gold paper. And then I'm going to set that aside, and I have this decorative piece of paper. It kind of looks like it would be a piece of washi tape or something like that. I'm going to trim all of these pieces down to 5 1/4. And then I'm going to go ahead and adhere these pieces down to my card base. So there we have the card base taking shape. So I'm going to use one of these butterflies. I think I'll use this one with the purple. I like the way that looks on there. And then it needs a sentiment up here. As you can see, we have words, words, words. I have these stickers from the Echo Park Spring Market collection, and this one I thought was really pretty. Friends are the sunshine of life. And I thought that the color in it would go really good with the butterfly. There we go. So that card is done. I hope you enjoyed that. That was super easy. I love using the card sketches because it makes our work so easy. Most of the design is already done. Now let's go ahead and recycle a Christmas card using this same card sketch. So the Christmas card I decided to recycle is this one. It has this really pretty red and foil leaf, gold foil leaf background with this bird. And I thought the bird would be good as my focal image down at the bottom. And then in my stash of paper, I found this really pretty paper, and I thought this went really good with it. And if I cut it just right, I can use this Merry Christmas part as my sentiment up at the top. So I'm going to kind of let the paper do the work for me. I also have a green background and a regular white card base. And these card bases measure 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. They're standard A2 size card bases. So I'm going to cut my green background down. I'm going to cut it down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. And that way that gives it just a little tiny bit of a white border. And I'll be working on this. So I do want to trim down my card and my paper. I'm going to trim my card. I'm limited on this card by the size of the bird. So I'm going to trim off this edge. Creighton, I don't know if you can hear him. He's going crazy. I'm going to trim it as close to the bird as I can. There we go. And this will be my strip that I'm using down one side. And now I'm just going to go ahead and trim this bird away. I'm going to trim it right into the white. So that means I will be taking off that gold edge. I will be adding back a gold edge to it in a minute. So what I did there, so I just had something to help hold it up underneath this. I just stuck a scrap piece of paper on the back of it. And then I have this piece, and I do want to cut a piece that is about 2 inches wide. And that is just about the width of the wreath here. So I'm going to trim my paper first to the edge of that wreath. And then I'm just going to eyeball it onto the other edge, since I know that is about 2 inches right there. That's pretty close. So that is the piece of paper that I will be using for the right side of the card. And then I thought I would use this decorative gold and white piece as my center line down the center of the paper. So I'm going to go ahead and use this paper trimmer only because it helps me to get into a much smaller, more narrow piece of paper. I'm going to trim off that very edge because it has a little bit of that pink paper on it still. And then to hold this one in place, I'm going to put a piece of tape there. There we go. And that way that helps to hold that piece in place so I can cut that piece off nice and straight. So here I have my card base. I think I like it this way. And then there's this piece. And then down the center will be that piece. I like the way that looks. So I'm going to go ahead and cut all of these and put them together. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one down to 5 1/4. I'll cut all of these down to 5 1/4. And while I have my trimmer out, I do want to go ahead and mat this. I'm going to go ahead and adhere it down to this gold paper, and I'll give it a nice little border. This gives it a little bigger of a border than it already had. That's why I did it this way. So there we go. Now let's go ahead and put this card together. This paper is very thin, so I have to be careful putting my adhesive on the back. I don't want to have my paper fold or buckle. So there we have that. And then this bird will be down at the bottom. I have some foam squares that I'm going to go ahead and cut and put on the back to raise him up. And I think since he is a little wide, I'm just going to go ahead and have it kind of over the center. I might actually just alter my sketch a little bit and have it kind of halfway between both of them. I kind of like the way that looks. Just a little bit different from the sketch. There we go. So you don't always have to follow the sketches exactly. And depending on the way your paper is, you can even turn the sketches on their side. So here we are with the sketch. This was the original card that gave me the idea for the sketch, which is very cool. But then here are my two sketches that I made with this. We have the Christmas card, and then we have the all occasion card. Actually, I forgot to put this down on this card base. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. That card wouldn't go very far. And let's go ahead and put this on the card base. I forgot the crucial step there. And usually when I recycle a Christmas card, if I have the center of the card, which has a sentiment, of course, I always put it on the inside. This one, I just had the front of the card. So I will stamp a sentiment or use an extra sentiment that I have on the inside of the card. So there we go. There is the card sketch. And here are the two cards that I made with it today. Let me know which one is your favorite. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please click on that subscribe button, and it'll help YouTube notify you whenever I upload a new video. Also, if you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and I'll be sure to be bringing you more card sketches in the future. I will post the card sketch in my Facebook group, Create with CraftyRia, so head on over there. A lot of the ladies there and gents, everybody there, when you make a card using the card sketch, we post them in that album in my Facebook group. Feel free to use the card sketch. Just be sure you either link back to my YouTube channel or to this video if you're using it on your social media. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate you. And until the next video, you know what to do. Go get crafting. Bye-bye.